Welcome to Happy Today podcast. This is a podcast for those who want to improve service experience of internal services. If you use ServiceNow or other enterprise service management system, then this is for you.
If our system availability wasn't good, our colleagues wouldn't be happy and our customers wouldn't be happy. So it doesn't matter. So you don't worry about the standard KPIs about uptime, downtime.
Okay, welcome to Happy Today podcast. This is episode 7 and a CIO interview with John Sullivan at Virgin Trains. We are here today at the Euston Station. So hi John, maybe a short introduction first.
Yeah, sure. So John Sullivan, I've got a massively fancy title. So I'm the CIO and Project Director for Virgin Trains. Very proud of that. Yeah. The day-to-day work isn't as fancy as the title alludes to, but sometimes it is. My motivations are, to come into work is really enjoy working with people. So if that's my team or that's my fellow executives or just the company and running the company, engaging with them, engaging with the partners, that we have ServiceNow, yourselves, that's the thing that really drives me. And I think within that is making a change. So most of us get up in the morning, get excited about work if you think you can make a change for the better. Making change for the better for me is let's do that for our customers and our colleagues. Yeah. And if we can deliver change that delivers for both those sets, that is fantastic. And we're highly motivated. I am, my team are, to make that change. Yeah.
And I've heard that the motivation has maybe brought you some awards or some things on the topic.
This is 100% due to the team. We have done well on awards, but the two that I'm most proud of, we are current holders of the Technology Team of the Year in the UK, and we are also the Digital Team of the Year in the UK. And I'm told it's the first time one company has got both of those awards at the same time.
That's nice. All right. So what does employee or customer experience mean to you and Virgin Trains? Like, how important is it for the way you do your business?
So I think, for any business, but it's absolutely critical. I'm very proud of working for Virgin Trains because it's at our core. We believe in, what Richard Branson and Screw Average, create amazing means average isn't good enough, good isn't good enough, but it's got to be great. But the focus is on what can we do for both sets, our customers. And again, we're fully energized in making things better. And sometimes we've had a short period in our franchise length because the UK Rail has a franchise system, but we spend a lot of money if we think it's going to help for our customers, fully on the understanding that happy customers come back.
Yeah.
Now, we may not think we're going to get a financial payback, but if we think it's going to make our customers' life happier, easier, entertain them when they're on board, they're more likely to come back, so we'll do it.
Yeah.
Even if we haven't got hard facts in terms of the finance about doing a change, we will do that. And I'm really proud to be part of that ethic.
Cool. What do you think, what drives your service management then for like creating the services for your employees? Do you rather measure happiness or SLAs?
So it's a big, it's a really big thing. And the other thing that really motivates me is technology changes so much. And the pace of it is so quickly, and it's so good now. If you go back even 10 years ago or 15 years ago when I left college, it wasn't so good, but it's so much easier now. But what does that mean? If you've got great technology, what does that mean to me and the business? I think we can deploy, systems much quicker. We can understand what our customers are thinking about the change and our colleagues. So for me, as part of that is actually, I don't like KPIs anymore. Yeah. So we're only focused on the happiness signs. Yeah. And if our customers are happy and our colleagues are happy, then that's good. And I've been challenged by fellow CIOs in rail and outside rail about that can't work, John, because if your system availability KPI is pretty poor, then your service isn't good, right? So that's for me, a really easy to kind of challenge back on that one. So if our system availability wasn't good, our colleagues wouldn't be happy,
Exactly.
and our customers wouldn't be happy.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter. So you don't worry about the standard KPIs about uptime, downtime, when you're going to take the system down, or the number of faults and the number of issues. Ultimately, it's just about keeping those sets of people happy.
Yeah, that's a challenging topic also for us as a company. We're a SaaS cloud-based company.
Yeah.
And then we are working with the big enterprises, and some of them have in their outsourcing contracts that you have to have an SLA and all this. And then we try to explain them that, sorry, but we don't have SLAs. Because if you guys are not happy and our service is down, then you will not renew our license and we'll get out of business.
Yeah.
So that is how important it is for us to have it. But still they are like, but how can we be sure? Well, think about it.
Yeah. And what I think is nice, it has to be also, there's an element of trust in there too.
Yeah.
But then we've got to find the right partners.
Yeah.
So in companies like ServiceNow, we do a lot of work with Amazon. The trust is incredibly high, so we can have those conversations. We're just about happy. So if you're not happy, we'll do something about it, and you will do. But there's an element of trust.
So are you sharing then also the happiness number and the trend and the graphs with your partners, and are you engaging your partners to drive that as well?
We would absolutely. So our partner ServiceNow is probably the best example. We want them to know what our business challenges are. And therefore they have to have numbers of customer numbers, where we've got challenges, how can they help us? It's got to be, we've got to be all in it together. I think is the best thing. It's one unit, one team. We just work for different companies. Yeah.
How do you internally communicate the happiness thing in the IT? How do you follow it, or does everybody, if we would walk to the IT department, how would they feel that they are contributing to the employee happiness?
Because it's in our core. Yeah. We circulate that, our happiness sign within the business. We've got interactive screens. So any one of my fellow execs, you want to find out about what's going on in IT, ask school. There's a screen there. You don't have to ask me. You don't have to wait for a monthly report or a weekly report and spreadsheet. It's on the screen. Now we do follow that up at the end of each month about what the scores were, aggregated, summarised at the end of the month. Yeah. But I'm really proud. It's interactive too. It's there. It's real time. Exactly. So we got the number. We got the key issues. We've got the number of issues that we've got outstanding. It's 100% open where we are. And again, for me, this is all kind of connected because it's the trust too. So I think people said he's open and honest. It's there because it's not always great. Yeah. Every day cannot be great, but it's there, completely visible for everyone to see in the business.
What do you think? If you wouldn't have that data, the experience data, what struggles would you achieve? Or how would it be if you came to work and you wouldn't have the data? How would that world look like?
If we didn't have the data, we wouldn't know how we're doing. So the data tells us how we're doing, and I think probably the most important thing for us as a team is when it isn't good, what should we do to improve it? So if we have an issue, for us it's really important to understand what the issues are. One, fix it, and two, what do we need to do to make sure that happens again? Yeah. So that quality ethic is really important, and the happy signs is fundamental to that quality sign. It's that continuous improvement. We got an issue, we fixed it, we move on, but we also do everything we can to make sure that it doesn't happen ever again in the future.
Yeah, having this employee experience data and having the focus that this is where we need to put our efforts. Has that changed the way that you can discuss with the business side of Virgin Trains and maybe on the CFO side or financing side? Does it help you justify IT budget in a way, or?
Well, I think it does. I've always got a view that if you get the day-to-day support services we give the business, that's the platform for any technology team. If we get that right. Yeah. If you get that right, then you can get into change management, so we can deliver projects. Yeah. If you get your service right and your project right, we can strategically influence the business. Yeah. But you've got to have those two right before you can do that. So the fundamentals of talking to the CFO about, justifying maybe some of our service projects is, here's the numbers that we've got from our customers, is about how happy they are. Yeah. Maybe there's areas where it needs to be improved and we need to spend money to make that improvement, but we can put hands on our hearts and using our minds. Here's the areas, we've got the data where we need to make improvements. Absolutely.
Perfect. And when you're having these projects, are the projects also measured through the happiness, or will the projects have
absolutely. I know it's The happiness sign goes right through the business, when we're making a change. What was that happiness before we've made the change? What was the happiness afterwards? Was it expected? So if we got, 5% increase, did that happen?
Yeah.
If it did, great, but actually can we make it more? If it didn't, what do we need to do to make that happen?
Yeah.
It allows you to have that discussion. So therefore we can be very objective about the change and what we've made. Has it met expectations?
All right, perfect. And I heard that you're trying to drive innovation. So are you more like that you find something that you believe in, then you try it and you see with the numbers, does it work, or what is your policy on getting new things like machine learning or these AI things, or how do you see it?
I think that I really enjoyed the debates, and again, ServiceNow have been really very much part of this. We say we've got a business challenge.
Yeah.
How are we going to fix it?
Yeah.
And that's where it starts. So it's the stats that we use is generally what's the most customer complaints that we've got, and we've got all this data. We've got ServiceNow in our call center. What's the biggest issue that business have got? So we get our partners in. When we go back about a year now, we said we've got an issue with how we manage disruption.
Yeah.
And how are we going to fix this business issue?
Yeah. So that's really good approach, because sometimes I see that the IT departments, they are just taking new things because they are new.
Yeah.
But they don't really have a business reason for it.
Yeah.
They are just for the sake of the new, we just want to do it.
Yeah.
But I think when you start thinking about it, when you really measure the employee and the customer experience, then you can justify this reason why should we do a chatbot, why should we have an AI thing, and why should we take this new ServiceNow feature into use.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise you're struggling to have like a business value or...
And that's it. It starts by the business challenge that we're trying to resolve.
Yeah.
If the new tech helps resolve it, then we use new tech.
Yeah.
And of course, we still get excited about using new tech. Don't get me wrong, But the fundamental is this is the business issue that we're trying to fix, and that helps my engagement with the business. So part of a role of modern CIO, we all strive to be that. Is I'll have this business type conversation. How do we resolve disruption? Well, look at our projects. Probably 90% of our projects now are tech.
Yeah, true. All right. What about? What kind of plans do you have next? Like, what would you still like to get more out of the experience data? What do you think that is still a bit lacking that maybe you feel that you would like to take it a bit further, or any specific topics around that?
I think probably the first thing that comes off to my mind is with the employee engagement, I'd like that to be more real time and do more of a pulse. I think pulse is the right word.
Yeah.
So we do it every few days or at the end of each week, but I'd like that to be more frequent, because I think that can be quite telling.
Yeah.
But I think other than that, I think we're very good now when we do a change, monitoring the happy signs and what impact the change has had. But I think for me, it's the frequency of the pulse. For customers, we do that more frequent. For our colleagues, we should probably be doing that a little bit more.
Okay. Then maybe lastly, what was the biggest surprise when you took on Happy Signals, or you had your customer experience thing, happy or unhappy surprise? But anything you can point out, like? I
think my expectations were quite high, because I believe there's a philosophy about just people being happy. To your point earlier, we're getting away from KPIs. You don't need those anymore. So my expectations were high, but it has been delivered. Maybe there was an anxiety of, would the business sign up for this?
Yeah.
But if you talk about it in passion and you talk about it clearly, I think it just makes sense. And that's probably why I'm working for the right type of company, because in Virgin we're 100% signed up for that.
Yeah, it does sound like, because you are saying also it's in your core, it's maybe something that you have like a special place in Virgin Trains to be able to do all these things and justify it. So
we are very fortunate, and you can't forget Richard Branson saying that you keep the staff or our colleagues happy, and they will keep customers happy, and that's a lot of the ethos works. If you go onto our trains, there's a lot of passion from our staff to keep the customers happy. And if that means going over and above the call of duty, then often you see that.
Any advice that you would like to give a fellow CIO if they think we should get on to this, where to start, or how to set it internally, or just start doing it, or
I think it's something we've got to do. It's part of modern technology and the change of it. You know, we talk about pace of change. I think we've just got to crack on with it. I think, you know, fellow CIOs should be helping and supporting each other. So if anyone wanted to talk to me about that and our journey, what worked, maybe what didn't work just initially, then we should all be around to help each other. But it's absolutely fundamental, something that we should do and get into it, do enough planning for it and deliver it. But it's got to be good for your customers and it's got to be good for our colleagues. You know, it gives you such great insight and information, and often it declassifies it. True. I mean, in IT we could have 10 of the standard KPIs, but does that matter if someone's happy or not? Yeah. So it's very simple. I'm 100% passionate about it.
All right, hey, thanks so much for your time, John. It was a really pleasure. And anybody wants to find more information, so I'll add some show notes to happysignals.com. So stay happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Stay happy. Absolutely, we'll do. It's a good philosophy to have in life too, right?
That is true. Thanks, John.
Thank you.